Do you think the man in the batting cage will be baseball's next 400 hitter? And do you think the man walking to first will ever overtake Ty Cobb in career stolen bases? Lou Brock in reach of the Georgia Peach. And can veteran Carl Yastrzemski hit the wall and hold the ball? And do you think these youthful Mets will ever learn to call for the ball? And did you see the tale of the bird and the bee? Well, if you didn't, watch it all now as Major League Baseball presents This Week in Baseball. Red Socker Ted Williams, the last major leaguer to hit 400. He did it in 1941. In 1930, the Giants' Bill Terry was the last National Leaguer to do it. And another 400 hitter, George Sisler, set a record for hits in a single season with 257. What has all this baseball history to do with 1977? Well, just take a look at Minnesota's Rod Carew, making a lot of baseball history with his magic bat. It isn't sorcery, just more pure hitting talent than anyone has seen in a long, long time. The largest crowd in Twins history came out Sunday to see Rod Carew reach for the 400 hitting barrier. And the hot hitter came through with 4 hits to push his average to the magic mark. In the last 3 decades, Rico Carty, Henry Aaron, Willie Mays, and Stan Musial all reached 400 in mid-June, but Carew is the first batter in that period to approach July with that mark. Hitting 400 under the tough conditions of modern baseball might rate as the greatest batting feat ever. It's possible that Rod Carew can do it. It's certain that if he moves at his present rate, he will surpass Sisler's record of 257 hits in one season. Carew knocked in 6 runs in this game, teammate Glenn Adams 8, and the Twins slugged the White Sox out of first place 19-12. 47,000 Minnesota fans proved they not only have Carew's 400 fever, they also have pennant fever. And so did the fans of the New York Yankees. The crowds jammed Yankee Stadium to see the Yankees try to avenge their 3-game loss to the Red Sox in Boston. The Sox began where they left off with power shots. The Sox did this 16 times to the Yankees in Boston. And now Carl Yastrzemski trots home here for 1 run. Then George Scott trotted home. 3 runs. And Butch Hobson, 2 more runs, giving the Sox 33 homers in 10 games and 5 runs off Catfish Hunter. Looked like a repeat of last week, but Catfish, who has been struggling lately, hung in there and prevented further damage until the 9th. Still, New York was in danger of falling further back to Boston in the standings. Relief ace Bill Campbell hadn't failed to win or save a game since April 25th. Now he's got the Yankees down 5-3, 2 outs, no one on, bottom of the 9th. But you never know in baseball. Here's the pitch. Willie Randolph lines one to left center field. Yastrzemski playing a bit too shallow, can't get it. Randolph flies all the way around to third, and the Yankees are still breathing. Roy White takes a breath. And the pitch. And look out! There's a drive to deep right field, going. It is gone. How about that? And that, friends, is what you call a clutch hit. It tied the game and triggered a roar that could be heard all the way to Boston. White shot set the stage for Reggie Jackson. It's the 11th inning, the winning run on second. And in the dugout, Billy Martin is telling Reggie to do it. Get up there, swing that bat, and win this ball game. Reggie ready. And there's a line drive deep to right field, and it wins the ball game. Greg Nettles comes home with a winning run, and the New York fans let Reggie know he's home at last. So do his teammates. That must-win cut Boston's lead from 5 to 4 games and stopped the Red Sox winning streak at 7. The next day, Mike Torres stopped the Boston power streak. Yaz tries one, but it's not quite far enough. This was the first time in 11 games that the Sox failed to hit a homer. Meanwhile, it was the Bronx Bombers' turn to hit a few. Mickey Rivers up at bat. There's a drive going deep to right field, up against the facade of the upper deck. Greg Nettles up. There's another one, and it's good for 3 runs. And that proved to be more than enough for Torres, who wrapped up a neat 5-1 victory. That knocked another game off the Boston lead, and now the Yankees were battling to even everything up with their rivals, hoping for a 3-game sweep. And to get it, Billy Martin challenged Don Zimmer's team the next day with speed and aggressiveness. Just watch this. At the plate, Roy White. On first base, Mickey Rivers. Watch now. Rivers with a good lead. There he goes. And the ball is hit into Rick Burleson's vacated position at short. The Yankees just went on running all afternoon, recapturing their aggressiveness of last year. That kind of base running gave Don Gullett a 4-1 lead, which he had little trouble holding until the 9th inning. But in that 9th inning, the Sox rallied to tie it. And so in the bottom of the 9th, the Yankees had to go back to work again. Thurman Munson comes to bat. Bill Campbell on the mound in relief. White running from first, and Munson lines a hit to left. And once again, the hit and run pays off as White races to third. That set the stage for Paul Blair, batting with the infield drawn in. The outcome of the game in the balance. He chops the ball. Hobson's choice. Unfortunate, it's over his head, and New York wins the ball game. Back in the Eastern Division race now, a race that should last through September. The Yankees are supposed to be an unhappy team that never gets along, but these Yankees look like they just might be a whole new ball club. The Cleveland Indians certainly look like a whole new ball club. They have ever since new manager Jeff Torborg took over. Since he was hired, the Indians have won 7 straight. Of course, the manager needs performances from his players, like he's been getting from pitchers such as Jim Bibby, who beat Detroit for his 7th win. And the manager needs great defense. And Torborg gets it here from Dwayne Kuiper. Watch. And of course, hitting. Buddy Bell tolls one. Bell's off to his best year ever. And along with him, Paul Dade, up among the league leaders in hitting. Everything's sailing smoothly till the Indians had a little powwow with the bird, Mark Fidrych. You see, Fidrych stopped the tribe's winning streak at 9 and extended his own to 5. Not only did the bird battle the batters, manager Ralph Houck is surprised watching the bird battle a bee. What's buzzing, cousin? The crowd just eats it up. everywhere the bird performs, whether on the road or at home. Not only do the Tigers love it, but the huge crowds just keep coming to see him pitch. The bird scared everyone when he injured his knee this spring, but as he said, "Don't worry, folks, it's just part of the game, and it's a game he loves to play." And fans everywhere sure do love to watch him play it his way. Pennant fever had the mercury rising in Reds country. With the front-running Dodgers in town to take on the Reds this weekend, and with Tom Seaver on the mound, Cincinnati rolled out the red carpet. Hotels, motels, and Riverfront Stadium were sold out. But Seaver had a little trouble in the first inning as the Dodgers got off to a running start. A single by Steve Garvey knocked in 2 early runs. Seaver allowed the Dodgers 1 more run, which proved to be just enough for Tommy John. As Casey Stengel would say, John threw a lot of grounders. He held the Big Red Machine to 2 runs by keeping the ball down and keeping the Reds on the ground. Los Angeles turned over 4 big double plays and bounced their way to a 9.5-game lead in the National League West. That set up some weekend of baseball excitement with spectators and participants involved in a great storm of baseball. Reds ready. Dodgers ready. So, folks, just sit back, relax, and watch the battle. Hitting, running, fielding, and it all seemed to balance out. The power scale was balanced as Steve Garvey hit 2 homers in 1 game. And Johnny Bench slammed 2 in another. And after all the sound and fury and exciting baseball, the 2 great rivals limped off with a 4-game split, leaving Cincinnati still 8.5 games behind Los Angeles. But it's still a long time from July to October, and plenty of time for lots of exciting baseball. In St. Louis, the Cardinal fans have little doubt as to where their man, Lou Brock, is heading. He's headed right after a record set by the legendary Ty Cobb, who holds the lifetime base-stealing mark of 892. And that's number 876 for Lou. Now he's only 16 behind the Georgia Peach. Cardinal youngsters Gary Templeton and Mickey Scott are catching on mighty fast. Whenever these 2 are on base, they're always a threat to steal. St. Louis has been winning with speed and clutch hitting. And this time it's another youngster, Keith Hernandez, coming through in the clutch. Gary Templeton can play a lot of shortstop, too. Watch. St. Louis is also counting on veteran Ted Simmons to win a title. Here he hits a home run to help the Cards beat the Phillies. And to make the picture a little brighter, the Cards recently added relief ace Raleigh Eastwick to their staff. This is his first save as a Cardinal, and you can be sure there'll be a lot more in the months to come. St. Louis took the first 2 games from the Phillies, but in the last game, Mike Schmidt proved too hot to handle. 13 homers in his last 19 games, and you're watching him hit his 20th of the year, tying him for the league lead. Jim Cott knows the way to stop Brock is just simply not to let him get on base at all. And Cott salvaged the win for the Phillies with a 2-0 shutout, giving him 250 lifetime victories, the most of any active pitcher in the majors. In Chicago, the fans came out to celebrate Old Timers Day and see some former great Cubs who can't seem to get the game out of their blood, like Ernie Banks and Phil Cavarretta. Later on, 28-year-old Bill Buckner came up with the real game between the Cubs and the Mets, hanging on the line. 9th inning, 2 out, tying run on second. Look out! These are the kind of breaks you need to win a pennant. From 4-1 going into the bottom of the 9th, the Cubs managed to pull another one out of the fire. And their fans showed their appreciation with a standing ovation. Whether you're an old-timer or a youngster, these Cubs are fun to watch. Friends, around the majors this week, a lot of players seem to have trouble getting their signals straight. You've seen this before. 2 rookies in a Mets mix-up, understandably inexperienced. But on the championship Reds, would you believe this? The big red bump. Sometimes nothing will stop a guy from grabbing the ball. Just watch. Okay, man, if you insist. Cleveland's Paul Dade is really insistent. This is not an instant replay. It happened again in the same game. Next time a ball is hit, the center fielder might as well sit down and watch. And here's a tangled-up situation as Big George Scott barrels into Yankee third baseman Greg Nettles. George isn't as mean as he looks. He just knows some guys aren't as big as he is. But Mickey Rivers doesn't know that for sure. But just look, Big George is just a gentle guy. Thanks for the tap, son. You might not never see this in a lifetime. Boston's Yastrzemski leaps, the ball's gone, so is Yaz's glove. He does get it back, but how about that? Watch it again. It hardly seems fair. The Sox lost the game, the home run, and Yaz almost lost the glove. Anything can slip away in baseball. Cesar Geronimo loses his bat. Ted Simmons loses his footing. Whoops. Nice going, Ted. More Cardinal confusion. They lose the play at first. Mike Tyson backs it up. He throws, but where? Backwards, right into the stands. That cost the extra base. And here's the last example of how not to play the game. A grounder to Tito Fuentes. Look out, Tito. That's interference. The umpire not only called the runner out, he called the batter out, too. A tough way to get a double play. Managers can surprise you, too. The Texas Rangers set an odd record this week. It started when they hired Eddie Stanky to replace Frank Lucchesi. Eddie's renowned for his aggressiveness and baseball knowledge as a man who knows how to win. But after one game, amazingly, Eddie resigned. Why? Well, Eddie said he simply missed his family too much and the life he had built as a very successful college baseball coach in Alabama. Meanwhile, the Rangers appointed Connie Ryan as interim manager and then officially hired Billy Hunter as the new manager. 4 managers in 1 week. Incidentally, Eddie Stanky won the game he managed, but he'd just rather move at his own pace. And so we say so long, Eddie. It was nice while it lasted. Here are a few good plays. Carl Yastrzemski goes down on his knees. Watch. And this time he keeps glove and ball. Heads up play by Tug McGraw. Lets the bunt drop. Throws to first. Gets the batter. The runner's hung up. Double play. Heads up baseball. How about that? "39-year-old Willie McCovey of the Giants has been having a surprisingly sensational year. Here he clouts a homer against the Cubs. This week, Willie set a National League record with his 17th career Grand Slam. In the same inning, he hit a second homer to become the only player to belt 2 homers in the same inning twice. Nice going, Stretch. And finally, hats off to Rod Carew, this week's recipient of the Gillette Special. Not only is Rod hitting .400, and after that all-time hit record, he also leads the league in triples, runs scored, and moved into second place on the league's RBI list. And he stole home this week for the 16th time in his career. Carew is having a season for all seasons. And so is baseball. 990,000 fans watched local scoreboard action this weekend. How about joining them, folks? Goodbye, everybody.